We live?
Yes, we are.
Welcome, everybody. We're not doing an intro today. This is probably going to be a shorter podcast because Jesse's got some stuff going on. There could be someone coming on like mid-show to give Jesse some shots and stuff. So we decided no intro screen today. We're just jumping right into it. We're going to do SummerSlam Survivor Series review show basically for y'all and answer questions that you guys have. So before we get into all that, Jesse, how you doing today?
Doing good. Busy day. Had an OB appointment. Cleaning people came, and I have to get a shot every week. So a nurse comes and checks me and makes sure everything's okay and gives me a shot. And because Thanksgiving's all wackadoodle, making everything wackadoodle, they're coming now. So maybe in like 30 minutes or so, I may have to run, and that could take 10 to 15 minutes, depending on, I don't know. I never. This person's different. So Steven will just kind of go chill and go over stuff or rant or do something, and then I'll hopefully come back.
Just go on
So
some rant that gets the entire show canceled while you're gone.
yeah, really, just absolutely cancel us. But yeah, but I wanted to get going before 3 because I know 3 is a big busy day on Wednesday. So I was like, let's just go.
Yeah, just do it. Um, and yeah, so Thanksgiving tomorrow. Happy early Thanksgiving to everybody who's watching this
Yes.
and listening. What are the plans for Thanksgiving for you? Doing just something with your family there?
Well, my husband works. He works for a big company that is retail. So every year, even though they're going to be closed on Thanksgiving, he still has to work. So he works. So we never have like an actual Thanksgiving. So we're going to go over to my parents and hang out there. And then me and my mom are going to go Black Friday shopping. We only go to like Joann Fabrics. We don't
Nice.
do like best. I tell you, Joann Fabrics got them deals. I'm telling you. So we just go like one or two places, and then we just go home. We get like, we're more about getting stuff to decorate for Christmas, not like gifts. So then we'll do that. We kind of already had like our family Thanksgiving on Monday. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we'll
What are you gonna do?
going over to my dad and stepmom's place. So
Yay.
that'll be nice. And
Mm.
watching football, that kind of stuff.
Yes. Yes. Cowboys.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Cowboys.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
I'm a very big fan of green bean casserole, and this is like the only time of
Me
year
too.
that like anyone ever makes it. So I'm looking forward to
I'm
that.
making mine with panko crumbs this year.
That's a good call. Definitely a good call. Let me know how
Mhm.
that turns out. Because
I
my
will.
my dad makes it a little bit different every year. Like I feel like he sees stuff like throughout the year on this like a random like cooking show, and he's like, okay, I should add that into the casserole. I should take that out of the casserole. So it's a little bit different every year. Um,
Ooh.
I saw
Alton
somebody.
Brown has a good recipe.
Oh, yeah, I know that guy is. He's like the scientist, right? Like the food
It's a good
scientist.
eats guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. And Dylan, what's up, man? Welcome back to the chat. Matt, welcome back. Corey, I don't know if you're still in here, but I see you. Corey's always, to Corey's credit, he is always the first person in the chat. Like, no matter when it is,
Yes.
he's always the first person to put a message in there. So we always appreciate that, Corey. And I saw some tweets
Yeah.
from you
Sorry.
I need to catch up on. I saw some Ring of Honor stuff that you sent, and I am definitely gonna watch that. I love these little random Easter eggs of wrestling stuff that Corey is always
He's
putting
so
out
good
there.
at that.
Yes, he's like a wrestling savant or something.
Is.
He has a very like I don't even know how to explain it, but I guess that's probably the best way of explaining it. He's able to like channel these matches and shit that like I have seen most of them and have either forgotten about, or it's like it's been a long time, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Can't believe that this guy's just randomly bringing this up. Scarlett in the house, with her tongue
And
out.
we got party started.
Yep. Let's get the party started.
Party
Right. I
started.
can get those down.
Mm,
Yes.
As always, y'all, with the Tim, what's up, man? As always, we are going to be going through the card basically from the start of the show to the finish of the show. We're going to give you our opinions on who won and lost these matches and all that stuff. If you want your voice heard, if you want questions answered, if you want to talk about your opinions on people winning and losing certain matches, we're also going to talk about the Undertaker's farewell and all that stuff. So if you have opinions on these things, stuff that you want us to for sure cover, or even anything non-WWE, if you want to talk a little AEW, Impact Wrestling, even MMA, whatever it is, just send a super chat, and there's also a donation link in the description right underneath this video. Both do the same thing. We'll make sure to prioritize your question, comment, statement, whatever it is. And I apologize if y'all might be hearing the slight sound of it might be a lawnmower. It's hard to tell with these on, but for
It's
days,
very soon.
for days now, it's been wood chippers cutting up trees and lawnmowers right outside where I record. So, it isn't too bad today though. But yeah, let's. You ready to just like jump into Survivor Series? Talk about
Let's
this
jump in. Let's do it.
Why is there like that extra little bit of white there? I don't know why that's happening. Oh well, not that it matters. So yeah, that's just the OCD.
I didn't see the pre-show, the Battle Royal. I did not see it at all. So
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, either did I, to be honest. Didn't watch it. I must have been watching football at the time. Yeah, I mean, The Miz won. That's not really surprising. He's got the Money in the Bank.
No cash in. No cash in.
That really wasn't too surprising to me because I don't see him beating McIntyre or Reigns for it. Like, I don't know how they're going to deal with that whole... One of the two's going to have to get the living hell beat out of them, I guess, for The Miz to... And if they put the belt on The Miz, like, what? I just don't understand. Like, I'm a Miz fan. Fuck. Before anybody's like, oh, he hates The Miz. Okay, this is a fucking Miz hat from... This is before he was even training. This is when he was on the Real World Road Rules Challenges. He had just started training. I had to go on what is it? Be Good, Be Bad, Be Miz.com. And buy this when he was training at UPW. Okay, y'all? So, like, I'm a longtime Miz supporter. But in 2020... I have no desire to see The Miz as WWE champion when you have this just one of the most stacked rosters of talent ever, and it's like The Miz is the guy. Like, how is that still makes no sense?
It makes no sense to me.
It's wild.
No sense. So dumb.
So anyway, I feel like there's not a whole lot either of us can talk about there. The Miz wins. I guess it would have been kind of cool for Dominic to win, but at the same time, I am so. Like, they've done such a great job of just, like, ruining the entire, like, Mysterio family thing with the Buddy Murphy and all that. Just, like, anything associated at this point, I'm just not interested in. I thought Steve was about to go hardcore. Oh, what's up, Joe? I almost said Joel. Joel. What's up, Joel? The only time Miz was good when he had the IC. The Miz has had some decent runs, but it's, 2020. It's like, what the hell? Anyway, starting the show off, we had a 5-on-5 Survivor Series match, and I actually wound up turning this on. I must have been really into whatever was going on in football. Oh, the Vikings were playing. That's why. That was like I forgot what I was so paid attention to that I wasn't paying attention to the beginning of this. By the time I turned it on, the only remaining members of SmackDown, I think, were Otis and maybe Jey Uso or something like that. Like, it was only like 2 people left. Yeah. And Team Raw ran the whole... ran it, right? So, yeah, thoughts on this one?
I mean, first of all, I was really shocked. I feel like... I mean, I get this year that Drew versus Roman was, like, the bigger draw and the big main event. So I understand that. But to have, like, your Survivor Series match be the first on the card makes no absolute sense to me. Like, and they were... Who won the night? I'm assuming it was SmackDown. Like, there was no keeping score. If this was really for bragging rights, why weren't we keeping score? Why did we not know which brand... Like, brand supremacy? We don't even know which brand won, like, with the tallies or whatever. It was, like... This match did not matter. This did not matter. It was weird. It was ridiculous. It was like...
Well, Jessi, let's be honest. This entire show didn't matter. Like, for that same reason. Like, it wasn't just this match. It's like every one of these matches. It's like non-title. I think it's champion versus champion, but like, who really cares? You know what I mean? It's kind of wild.
I mean, it was like... This, and then just on Monday, just to hear them talking, oh God, you know, I was thinking, oh my God, Steven was right. Because you know how we had talked about how Matt Riddle, you said you didn't like when Matt Riddle talked stupid or whatever. And I was like, but I kind of like it. No, dude, I was like, you were absolutely right. I hated it. I hated it so much.
Corey with the huge super chat.
Corey!
Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Oh my God. Did you hear us earlier? We were putting you over big time, man. Corey with the super chat says, "Hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving. Hope you like the thing on OnlyFans, Jessi. Lots of love, prayers, and positive vibes for everyone in the chat." Thank you, Corey. I will check my OnlyFans tonight, as always. You know that. Seriously, I'm sure I'll like it. I'm sure I will love it. Thank you so much, Corey. It really means a lot. And yeah, for real, positive vibes to everybody.
Yes, thank you, Corey. We were literally just talking about you. Don't know if you missed it, but thanks for sending me all those random wrestling clips, like especially the PWG stuff, Ring of Honor stuff, and the like the Pro Wrestling Noah stuff and all that. Like, I really appreciate it. And thank you very much for that super chat. That was really, really nice of you. And happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
But yeah, the Matt Riddle thing is
that was interesting. I don't get it. What happened?
Yeah, so I'll say this, and I always kind of have to preface it right now with what's going on with Matt Riddle, because I know he's in the middle of like a lawsuit deal right now outside the WWE. That stuff aside, I'm a big fan of Matt Riddle. I have been since the UFC. Like, I followed his whole MMA career from the time he was on The Ultimate Fighter through his last UFC fight. I got to meet him at independent wrestling shows, and he has always been nothing but super, super nice to me. So he's a guy that I do root for from that perspective. So when he made it to NXT, I was very happy. He had a really good NXT run. When he went to Raw, I started getting worried. Or SmackDown, and now Raw, it's like you're getting worried. And this is the kind of stuff I really feared when it came to Matt Riddle. Is like, the WWE's going to see him as like this goofy stoner. And yeah, he smokes a hell of a lot of weed. Like, that's not a secret. But he's not like a complete dumbass of a human being either. And that's he the way he speaks, like, he kind of talks like that, but he's not saying a whole bunch of stupid stuff. Like, his cadence is kind of similar to what you're seeing on TV. He's very, oh, bro, I don't really care, bro. Just, it's all good, bro. He's very, it doesn't take things seriously, and I like that about him. But when you're up there and it's like, so I did watch part of Raw. It was all I watched of Raw this week was very short, and it was Matt Riddle talking. And I can't remember what he said, but like very early on, I just turned it off. It was like, it was more that like fire face. Oh no, he's talking. He's like fire face.
Oh yeah,
and mongoose. Yeah,
I thought it was funny at first, but it was just like.
Well, no, he had like a backstage thing. He was talking to somebody, and it was like the dumbest conversation. Oh no, he's talking about making pizza flavored yogurt, and I was like. What?
Yeah, what was that?
I was like, this is so stupid. Like, this guy can legitimately beat up everyone on your current WWE roster. Like, and Brock Lesnar aside, which that's even a pretty good fight, there's nobody that can that can beat this guy in a real fight in the company. And he's out there talking about pizza flavored yogurt. Like, what the fuck? Anyways. Dylan's wrestling stuff with Super Chat. Thank you very much, Dylan. Go ahead. Go for that again, Jessi.
Okay. Sorry, I gotta move this. Okay. Thank you so much, Dylan. You rock. So does Corey. Everyone rocks. Everyone in the chat's rules. Thank you so much, Dylan. It says, I was still surprised when Rollins got eliminated. This is what I want to talk about. When Rollins got eliminated early, but due to the dominance of the Raw side, they swept SmackDown. Thank you so much, Dylan. I wanted to talk about that. You must have missed it. So, Seth Rollins, tags himself in the beginning of the match, right? And just sacrifices himself to the greater good and gets pinned and just leaves. And I was like, oh, he just wants to go be a dad. He's going to go be a dad. Becky Lynch is due now, I would assume, soon.
Sure.
Beginning of December, I think. And so, he's got bigger fish to fry, my friend. But then people were saying it's because he didn't want to look at Matt Riddle or something, which I don't understand that. But it was very bizarre, but it made sense because I think Seth Rollins does need to go, be a dad. And I guess the best way to do that is for him to have some Messiah meltdown and to just sacrifice himself and leave. And that way it kind of protects him because he's kind of I guess in kayfabe, in canon or whatever, he's kind of the only one that really stood a chance other than Kevin Owens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very strange. I actually read, I was reading the results, and I saw that he did something like that, but, so that is what happened. He just straight sacrificed himself for the team.
Yeah.
So,
Played himself out, man. It's weird.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of stuff about Seth Rollins not liking Matt Riddle, like for real, like
I haven't
you
heard
know.
that at all. So
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it has to do with Matt Riddle's issues that he's dealing with outside of wrestling right
yeah,
now.
right.
I have no idea. Um, I know there are a lot of veteran wrestlers that don't like Matt Riddle because. So here's the thing, I get it. There's definitely like a respect level that veteran wrestlers I think should get in most cases, right? Like if you're Booker
Mm-hmm.
T or you're Chris Jericho or you're these kind of guys that or Goldberg, these kind of guys that Matt Riddle has like went after on Twitter and basically made fun of on Twitter. Um, it's shitty. It's shitty to be like Gold. Even you can have your opinions of Goldberg or whatever, but it's like the guy is a legend. He did have a huge run in WCW. His comeback in the WWE a couple years ago was really well done in my opinion. Like since then, like the Saudi stuff with Undertaker was terrible and that kind of stuff. But the point is most wrestlers are just gonna have that respect for a guy like Goldberg or a guy like Booker T, who you can say is like one of the best tag team wrestlers ever, one of the best singles wrestlers ever. Like you got to show the kind of respect. Chris Jericho, my favorite wrestler of all time. Like and Matt Riddle has made fun of these people and jabbed at them for years. And I understand maybe someone like Seth Rollins that could have something to do with it too, where he's like, this guy doesn't respect what we do. But at the same time, I kind of like it because it's like what sets Matt Riddle apart from the others is he can actually kick all your asses. So he can really kind of say whatever he wants to. Because if you're Bill Goldberg and you're used to just intimidating people to get what you want, and then Matt Riddle's in front of you, literally taunting you, being like, "All right, bro," and Goldberg's like, "I'm not your bro," and he's like, "Oh, whatever, bro. It's all good, bro." And it's like
the worst thing when you're trying to make someone mad is them not getting mad.
Yeah, and just like parroting what you're saying back to you as a joke, And yes, it's disrespectful, but it's also like that's kind of what makes Matt Riddle intriguing to me. Is like if Goldberg actually stepped to him, Goldberg's going to sleep, and Goldberg knows that. Like, so there's nothing these people can really do about it. Now, I don't know if I don't know what Seth Rollins' issue with him is. I don't know exactly what it is, so I don't want to speculate.
Yeah.
But I have heard that, so that is interesting.
Huh. See, I had never heard that, so that was new to me. I just figured he wanted to go be a dad.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where it's heading, like for sure. Like I don't think he'll be on TV for a while. That's just a guess though. But moving on, we had the tag team championships. Now, I mentioned a minute ago that this pay-per-view didn't matter, and I meant that from like a brand a supremacy perspective.
The Survivor Series aura kind of thing.
Right, the brand versus brand, all that shit. But there was a couple really good matches, and this was one of them. The Street Profits wound up defeating the New Day, and I thought this was just really, really, really good. I thought it went longer than 13 minutes, to be honest. Like this was
longer than that. Yeah,
this was a really good match. All four really talented, and it's one of these things, honestly, like when I went into the match, this is actually meant as a compliment to the others and not a diss to the one guy I'm about to mention here, but like going into this match, I'm like, oh yeah, Kingston, Xavier, and Montez, like this is going to be awesome. Angelo, I'm kind of like, I'm still like, he doesn't do a whole lot for me, but he was really damn good in this match. And I was like, yeah, and he looked real good. Like everything he did was good. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm giving this guy enough credit. I think I've been wrong. And so I put him on that same level. I think Montez Ford is more athletic, and he jumps really high. And that's
frog splashes are ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch, and I think he's going to be a big single star at some point in his career. But I've been sleeping on Angelo a little bit, and I got to admit that. So
good for you for admitting that.
Yeah. So that was I thought it was weird that Big E came out with them, then left.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird, but yeah, I thought this match was awesome, and the Street Profits winning, I'm totally fine with. What were your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I really liked it. I really, really enjoyed it. I love Angelo Dawkins because he's a Buckeye, so he's cool in my book. He's super over to me. You know what? I had said I was worried about injuries in this match, and there was one point in this match where my heart stopped, and that was when Montez Ford, I can't remember, was it Kofi or Xavier who dove on the outside and landed on Montez Ford.
And one of them was out of the way. It looked like both were probably supposed to catch him. Yeah.
Yeah, his head bounced off the floor so hard.
Yeah.
I was like, he's done. I was like, I could not believe he was. I mean, thank God. I mean, it looked very padded. So, which still, I mean, it still hurts like heck, I'm sure. But I was like, oh my God, he's got to have a headache. Like, I thought he was concussed. I was like, how is this match going to go on? But I'm telling you what, man, they still went through it. He still did all of his things and did his moves, and this match was really fun. And I knew it was going to be really fun. I was just a little bit scared, but that scared me a lot. But other than that, and other than me, like, kind of keeping an eye on him and making sure he was, like, still there, you know, I really enjoyed the heck out of this match. I thought it was one of the better matches on the card, so loved it.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. I'm down to watch this again whenever. Like, these are the kind of matches similar to, like, the New Day and the Usos. They wound up doing it a little too much at a certain point, but, like, the first, like, 4, 5, 6 times I saw that match, it was always really, really good. So,
yeah, sorry, I'm just, like, adjusting my mask from the person phones.
Oh, okay, cool. After that, we had Bobby Lashley defeating Sami Zayn. This was, you know, all these are champion versus champion, so I guess it's really not worth. You guys know what's going on in these matches if you watched it, you know, of course. But
yeah, this
is kind of what I expected. Like, it was basically Lashley, like Sami Zayn running from Lashley, and, you know, what did you think about the match and the result?
It sucked. I hated it.
It's pretty
so dumb.
Yeah. Sami Zayn's very unlikable. Like, I gotta give him credit on that. Like, he's really good at, like, getting people to really, really dislike, because he's an incredible wrestler, but he's done a great job lately of, like, really making me dislike him, which is his job.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I know he's very, very cocky, very in your face.
My brother saw him it wouldn't have been for the first time, but he doesn't remember, you know, a lot of the stuff. And Sami Zayn, my brother was watching this with me, and Sami Zayn came out and he was like, "Is this guy's character that he's homeless?" Like, that's the first thing you thought when he saw him, and I was like, actually, like, kind of. Like he like went home and quarantined, like, for like the whole year.
SJW.
Yeah. Yeah. He's definitely trying to put up vibes that he is of, like, a I'm trying to think of the right person.
Entitled?
Well, definitely entitled, but, like, the way that he dresses reminds me of somebody who's been, like, out in a desert, just, like, by himself, like, just fucking huge beard, hair's dirty as hell and long, and just looks like a guy who's just been, like, plotting out in the desert somewhere for, like, you know, like, by himself. Dylan with another super chat. Thank you, man.
Thank you so much, Dylan. Dylan, thank you again. Super appreciate it. He says, he basically reiterates what we said. Sami Zayn versus Bobby Lashley was an absolute joke. More comedy and a complete waste of time. Could not agree more.
Yeah, I agree. The sad thing is the two of these guys should really be having good matches, but I definitely agree with Lashley winning, though. Like, this was the right move. They got to do everything they can to protect Lashley right now, I think. The Hurt Business is awesome. Yeah. I love the group.
Yeah. Just FYI, the person coming to give me my shot is probably about 5 minutes away.
Okay, cool.
5 to 10 minutes. So if I disappear for a little bit, just keep going.
Will do. What we'll do, guys, is if Jessi has to go, I'll go through the rest of these matches, and then Jessi we can come on and just give your thoughts on anything that I'd gone over, so you can talk about that. And while you're gone, I'll just I'll talk to the chat. So
okay.
We might get through these matches anyways in the next couple of minutes. So we had Sasha Banks and Asuka. I mean, this was a good one too. Like, I mean,
this was really good. I actually really enjoyed. This is probably one of my favorite matches of the night. Actually.
Yeah,
I loved it. I thought Asuka was gonna win.
Me too.
But this was great. I mean, Sasha Banks is, like, on her A game. I mean, my God, she is doing great. This was super fun. Like, I enjoyed the heck out of this. This match actually felt like, I guess because, you know, Sasha's whole she can't ever defend the title kind of thing. You know, she can't ever get wins when she's the champion kind of thing.
Right.
It kind of did have a little bit more meaning than the other ones, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I They both did great, and that's like the counter submissions were really cool, and just I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was good as well. Two of the best,
Yeah.
you know, they really are two of the best in the world at what they do. They really are. And I'm, you know, I guess the only reason I'm torn on it is because you know, when you see stuff like this, like these are two really high level wrestlers, right? And I would,
Yeah.
and this is where I think the brand split like really hurts is because you could have this just incredible women's division where it's like just the
Right.
best of the best. And I'm not sitting here like shitting on specific people, but there are certain women that I just don't think. I mean, the same with the men, by the way. It isn't just secluded to women. Like
Yeah.
I want to see the best of the best every week. Like there's only so much TV time, and I want to see the best. And like these are two of the best. Like we should be seeing stuff like this on the regular. Like if it isn't the two of them, it's like okay, well, Asuka and Bailey isn't supposed to happen because Bailey's on the other show. Like that's a really good match that I think people would want to watch. Like there's Charlotte and she's gonna miss. And you get with the men too, but because I guess there's less women, it's one of those things where I'm like, if they have one women's division, like one women's title, I think that we'd be getting just consistently great matches like this, like often versus
Hmm.
sometimes when I'm watching some of the people that we're gonna talk about here in a second, it's like I think there's just a big difference to me
Yeah.
with some of it, you know. So
Yeah.
like, so speaking of, we had the 5-on-5 Survivor Series match, Team Raw, which was Lana, Shayla, Nia, Lacey, and Peyton Royce versus Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Bailey, and Natalia, and yeah, so I'll just say real quick because I know you're gonna have to go in a second. Actually, give me your thoughts first, and then I'll
Okay.
yeah.
I think we all kind of. I mean, I assumed Lana would be sole survivor. Um, just I'm done with the petty bullying stuff. Like they were all pointing and laughing at her. Like, okay, women are. I mean, yeah, women can be catty or whatever, but women are so much more than that. And like you're doing anybody, even men, a disservice by doing this like elementary school bullying like storyline. Like it's not getting her over. So making her sit in the corner and cry and become sole survivor is not going to make her over. It's not. She just has this chronicle where she's crying because she's talking about how there's not as many live fan experiences, so she can't experience real people. So the only real people she's seeing are people online bullying her, and WWE is doing her no favors with this. And it's like I feel so bad for her. I feel bad for her. Is she a really good wrestler? No, honestly, she's a better manager. But at least don't like emphasize the fact that she's a joke. Like, sure, I get they were trying to do this big comeback thing, but it just the way they went about it was just awful. It was just so silly. That's all I was paying attention to was Lana. I was not paying attention to the stuff in the ring. I was paying attention to the commentary table because I thought she was going to be put through the commentary table or Nia was going to get put through it. This was just ridiculous. Peyton Royce looked really good though. She did good. But other than that, like this was just the way they went about making her sole survivor was just all wrong. And I could go on, but I just was not pleased.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely echo all that. It's. I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. I don't feel bad for Lana, like as a performer. I feel bad for
Hmm.
her, like outside, like getting bullied, and I feel bad. Um, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. I really try to be like, why as a wrestling fan should I give a fuck about somebody getting a title shot? Because that's where it's heading, right? It's like Lana's gonna get the title shot, and she'll probably wind up being the
She
champion.
did.
Okay.
No, she did get a title shot yesterday.
Okay. So
Or Monday.
spoiler alert, I really didn't pay any attention to Raw last night. So how, as a wrestling fan, as a fan of professional wrestling, right? Which is like, I know wrestling's changed a lot, but a lot of what I like about wrestling is it's like an athletic contest it's like a fight simulation. It used to be a very macho thing. Like guys like Randy Savage got me, and Hulk Hogan got me into wrestling, and the Ultimate Warrior. And you can have opinions of all these people, like it's totally fine. But it's like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, and it's like these kind of people. And now the people getting title shots are winning matches by default, they were just there, like they're not in the match at all. They're just there.
She stood there
and crying because they can't stand up for themselves. Like, if you're it's different if it's any other line of work. If it's any other line of work, if you're a woman that goes into your job in retail and every day you walk in, there's another girl that's there who has more friends and she's bullying you and you gotta eat lunch by yourself and you're crying every day, that's one thing. But when you're a fucking your job is professional wrestler, basically fake fighter, but however you want to call it, you like people bully you, then you fuck them up. That's the whole thing. That's what this is like all about at the end of the day. It's like how am I supposed to get behind somebody who can't stand up for themselves in a sport? Like imagine a UFC fighter doing this. Like imagine a UFC fighter getting bullied at a press conference and crying instead of getting in that guy's face and being like, oh no, we're going to fight on Saturday. I'm going to beat the fuck out of you. Like, I'm going to make you eat all your words. This is just a girl crying on the outside of the ring getting title shots. Like, it's so dumb. And then the other stuff that Jessi mentioned, like, is just salt in the wound because she actually is dealing with bullying in real life, and that isn't cool. Like, I'm not advocating that at all. But then they're going to do it to her on screen, too. And she's basically getting a push based on getting destroyed every week through announce tables. Like, how are the championship love, and the fact that after she won this match, she's in the ring for like what seemed like an eternity. I'm the winner. I'm the sole survivor. I did it. I'm the best. You were on the outside of the ring crying on the ring steps and won by default. Like, how are you celebrating this? Like, I feel like anybody who likes this is taking crazy pills. Like, people can think whatever they want. You can be a fan of whatever you want. But, like, you gotta be kidding me. And I know Lana has a lot of fans, by the way. Like her as a human being, I'm also trying to make it clear. Her as a human being, I am separating out of this. Like, it's
important. Sorry, they haven't gotten here yet. Scarlett just came in here and she was like naked. And I was like, oh my God, you've got to wear clothes. It's very important to distinguish between CJ Perry and Lana. Like, we are not talking about CJ Perry, the individual. We're strictly talking about her character and wrestling. Yeah.
Well, and once again, like, the key word there is in wrestling. Like, you're a quote unquote fighter who can't stand up for yourself to the point where you're crying. And like I don't know if you heard, but like imagine a real fighter doing that. Like, Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate are in a press conference, and Miesha Tate's going, you know what? Stand over there. You're not worthy of this. But she's just crying in the corner. Can't wait to see that title fight. There's a girl who's so intimidated in the job that she does for a living that she's crying over it. And she's getting title shots. I gotta go. Yeah, go for it. I will. I'm gonna keep up with the chat here. I'll hold off on talking about the main event until you get back. All right, chat. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Jay-Z says creative is shitting the bed on a consistent basis on Monday nights. I mean, I agree. I think Raw's a really, really bad show, and it's hard. It sucks saying that. Y'all gotta understand. I've been watching Raw for like 30 years, and I know that there's people who've been watching longer than me, and some newer fans and stuff like that. And it isn't so much about longevity as the point being, like, I've stuck with the show for a long time before, you know, I'd say probably around 10 or so years ago is when I started really seeing, like, some warning signs. But then they kind of pulled me back with a lot of the NXT stuff and showed me a lot of promise. And they signed a lot of really good wrestlers off the indies and from other companies. So there was a little while there when, like, Finn Balor was coming up, and Kevin Owens was coming up, and Sami Zayn was coming up, and Neville was coming up, and yada yada, where it's like, and even when the Shield came up, that was a really big deal. It really kept me back in as a fan. But now what I'm seeing, all the talent in the world, this isn't the talent's fault, but it's, the writing is so bad. It's so bad, y'all. Like, what else do we have? George Hook says, he's right, the long thing is getting old. How many times do these people have to keep banging her around? Raw is boring, except for Bray and Alexa. So that's an opinion thing too. Like, and here's the other thing, y'all. If there's something that you like, that's up to you. You know, like, you're totally allowed. So, like, the Bray Wyatt and Alexa thing, I don't care a whole lot about it, but it's because I don't really care about Raw just in general. I feel like if I miss Raw, I'm not missing anything important. And that's wild from somebody who religiously watched this show every single Monday, no matter what else was going on in my life for like 30 years. And I'm at a point now where it's like, I don't really, you know, I'll read about it. I'll let Jesse tell me about it. I'll listen to the Fightful post show, hear Denise and Sean talk about it. But that's, you know, but I know people do like the Bray and Alexa stuff, and that's good. That's a highlight. Like, that's something that a lot of people are really getting behind. And just because I don't really care a whole lot does not mean that it's bad by any means. And by the way, like, I have, like, you can't see it, but I have, like, the Fiend's vinyl pop and stuff. Like, I was real behind that character when he started out, but it's kind of, I don't know. We'll see where it goes, though. I'm still pretty optimistic about it, to be honest. The Alexa thing, I think, is really smart to put them together. JGZ says SmackDown has the best story right now with Roman and Samoa and Bloodline. Totally agree. Now, that's another thing. I don't watch SmackDown really hardly ever anymore either. But I do go out of my way to watch Roman Reigns segments afterwards. I find out what he did on the show, and then usually WWE's YouTube channel has clips of what Roman did, or I'll, you know, find ways of finding it. I think that what Roman Reigns is doing is by far the most interesting thing going on in WWE programming right now. And that includes NXT, by the way. I'm a huge NXT fan. I even really like the Pat McAfee stuff. I know he's a polarizing guy, but like I love NXT, and NXT takeover shows are can't miss in my opinion. But right now the best thing going on Raw, SmackDown, or NXT is Roman Reigns in my opinion. I think that storyline is fantastic. Me and Jesse are going to talk about Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre when she gets back here, but I'm totally with y'all who are, and there's people that still, you know, probably still don't like Roman Reigns. I think this is the best version of Roman we're going to get for a long time, and I really think it's setting up Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania for the head of the table. And if they do that, especially if Roman wins clean, that's real big for him. For somebody who, everybody, myself included, I was there in the crowd in Orlando, Florida, and in New Orleans the next year. In the crowd, fuck you, Roman. Fuck you, Roman. You know, I was there in the crowd doing it along with everyone else. But this different character, this heel character, this head of the table, tribal chief, and now the way that the Usos are kind of are like starting to embrace it, it's a great story. It really is. And Roman is a better wrestler than people give him credit for. He's super athletic. He knows how to tell a story. You know, if the WWE wants him doing Superman punches and spears, that's what the WWE wants. I really believe that if we had, I'm not saying that this isn't like a AEW versus WWE thing, but like if Roman Reigns was in AEW, for instance, I think he'd be having really damn good matches. Like, it wouldn't just be the stories are good. Like, I think he's capable of having really good matches, especially against the right opponents. So, what else do we have? Retribution is a joke, says George Hook. Yeah, 100%. Were they even on Raw last night? I didn't really watch the show, but I know they beat. We didn't mention this, but I know that Retribution basically beat Team Raw last Monday, and then Team Raw got a clean sweep at Survivor Series, and then please let me know, was Retribution even on Raw last night? George Hook says 3 hours is just too long. I agree, but the thing is, they have the talent. Like, there's enough wrestlers and personnel on the show that 3 hours, it is long. I agree. I think 2 hours is the sweet spot. But they got the talent. if they had better writing, it's a completely different story, I think. Honestly, NXT could be better 3-hour show than Ross's JGZ. I agree. That one's a tough one, right? Because I think part of what makes NXT so good is that it's a little bit that it is shorter than Raw. And I thought NXT was really good as a 1-hour show also on the network before they switched to USA. But I agree. I think Triple H and his writing and the actual talent in NXT, I think they probably would have a better. But here's the problem, right? Is how long would they be allowed to be different? Because I think that, like, on SmackDown, for instance, like Team SmackDown, good example. Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, like the three of them right there. All three of them are capable of having damn good matches. The same level of match you're seeing in NXT. Like, personally, I like watching guys like Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. I love what Finn Balor's done since going back to the brand and that kind of stuff. I'm more interested in what's going on in NXT personally. But they have the talent. Like, even on Raw. Yeah, Raw's a 3-hour show. Well, AJ Styles is still one of the best wrestlers in the world. Keith Lee's absolutely incredible. Matt Riddle can be really good depending on how he's booked. You can be having really good matches on 3-hour shows. It's just a complete difference in writing, I think. And a willingness to let the wrestlers go out and have those kind of matches. Because on Raw, when you see Keith Lee, it's like a 5-minute showcase match. On NXT, when you saw Keith Lee, it was like, a 20-minute back and forth, like, athletic, like, showing that this guy has power, athleticism, he can fly around. It was completely different kinds of matches. You know what I mean? JGZ says, Pat McAfee is killing it right now. Can't wait for War Games. I agree. I think he is killing it. I'm a huge fan of what he's doing. And he does one of the best sports shows in the world, in my opinion. The best one on YouTube. Yeah, for sure. B-Man TV Live says hello to Jesse. Says Pat McAfee is evil also. He's a great character. Because the thing with Pat McAfee is the IWC hate is real. Well, he's trolling, but you know what I mean? Like, Pat McAfee is actually a longtime wrestling fan. A lot of people might not know he, like, legitimately he was a really good punter in the NFL. Pro Bowl level punter. And he made a lot of money. And one night he got really drunk and he bought a wrestling ring, like, online. And completely forgot about it. And one day, like 3 days later, a big truck showed up and started putting a ring together at his house. And that's just the kind of guy that he is. Like, he's a total bro, huge wrestling fan, has a wrestling ring at his house just because, like, he thought it'd be cool. And the point being that he is a hardcore wrestling fan. So when he's going after the internet wrestling community, he knows what the internet wrestling community really is. And he knows that most of that community hates that he's a part of NXT and hates that he's getting matches. But it's also one of those things where I think there's a lot of hate in the fact that he's as good as he is. I think there are haters as well, where people are watching him going, oh, fuck this guy, like, it's Pat McAfee. And it's like, well, he's really damn good on the microphone. And his match against Adam Cole was way better than I think anyone ever expected it to be. You know what I mean? He's out there overperforming consistently. And I got to give him his credit for that. Let's see, JGZ says, I agree the talent is there. The creative isn't doing the talent any favors. Totally agree. And it's going to keep being this way as long as there's a 75-year-old man making the final decision on this stuff. And we could talk, that's a whole other podcast for a whole other day, but I don't see it changing. It seems to just keep getting worse and worse, no matter how good the talent they have. And here's the thing, like, I know of another probably 3 or 4 people that I know have signed to the WWE that I won't say their names, but I'm very plugged in on the indies and know a lot of stuff about when people sign, and I just keep my mouth shut because I don't want to ruin relationships. I've told a lot of stuff in confidence, like, hey, 5 people know this, please don't say anything, but this or that's going to be happening. And it's like, and they're signing and about to be signing a lot of really, really, really talented people. But it makes me worry because it's like the people they're signing. Here's a good example. One of them is Alex Zane. That news is out by now. I found out about that probably a month and a half, 2 months ago. Alex Zane, it terrifies me because the guy is incredible in the ring, and he's someone that I think the WWE can mold into a really interesting character. But he's going to probably wind up on 205 Live and just be completely forgotten about. It's happening with Kurt Stallion right now and others. But the thing is, 205 Live, to be fair, has been I'm more entertained with 1 hour or a half hour, whatever, of 205 Live than what I'm seeing on Raw lately, to be totally honest. Like, the fan that I am, I'd rather watch Kurt Stallion, who I'm a very big fan of, by the way. This isn't this is actually praise to Kurt Stallion. Like, I think Kurt Stallion versus Santos Escobar is going to be a damn good match for that Cruiserweight Championship, and nobody knows about it. You know, no one's paying attention. And I feel like that's going to happen to a lot of these people that I've heard have signed with the WWE recently. It's going to be really interesting because, once again, the talent is there, but the writing, you know, who knows? And who knows what brand they wind up on, you know? It's like there's just so many intangibles there. You can say the same about a lot of companies, by the way. Like, you know, like AEW, good example. Like, I don't know who it's on, but I think Miro has been a complete flop in AEW. You know, I'm sure people will disagree, but I don't know if that's his fault or AEW's fault. But it isn't secluded just to WWE, by the way. You know, the writing has to be there, the story has to be there, the person's got to be right for it. But the problem with what the WWE is doing is it's just consistently lame writing, and they seem to be writing more and more for like these demographics that just aren't my demographic. Whereas AEW is going out of their way to cater my demographic, you know? So it's also a difference in that too. Like Monday Night Raw, like let's be honest, Monday Night Raw is mainly for children. You know, it's a PG show. Children, little girls. I mean, I think that's a big reason why we saw a lot of the women's evolution, why we've seen I'm not saying this is wrong, by the way. I'm just saying, like, I think it's catered much more towards women than it was in the 90s. Like, in the 90s, like, very few women were watching professional wrestling, I feel like, unless they were, like, with their boyfriends or something like that. But now it's, like, there's a lot of women wrestling fans. So it's more kind of a lot of soap opera type stuff and stuff that kind of caters to female fans. AEW does some of that stuff, too. All the companies do that kind of stuff. But over on AEW, they're putting on matches and stories that I'm actually, like, interested in. And the matches deliver. NXT can be said the same. It's catering to the same demographic. Raw's demographics they're just not catering to my demographic. They're catering to a very young demographic and a very, very old demographic, the 50 plus demographic. Which even AEW is like nearing the gap on that. So it's like, you know, it's just weird, right? Like the talent's all there on all the companies, but the writing is just so different depending on what brand you're on, what company you're on. So, yeah, it just is what it is. George Hook says, I think Jessi's been kidnapped by the Fiend. Yeah, she said that it might take like 10 minutes or so. She has to get this shot. So, yeah, we're just kind of killing time and answering questions until she gets back. And then we're going to cover the main event. By the way, y'all, if y'all have any super chats or donations, even though I'm obviously just answering everything right now, when Jessi comes back, we will make sure to address any of those. We won't skip any of those for sure. Any other questions or anything else that y'all want me to talk about while we're waiting on Jessi? Just kind of sit here and hang out for a minute. And by the way, with the demographic stuff, I think it's worth mentioning. We want pro wrestling to be inclusive, right? Like we want everybody to enjoy it and have the biggest net, right, of possible fans. But you also have to keep in mind that there's shows like Real Housewives, for instance, right? That's clearly like the demographic is like Real Housewives isn't trying to make a show that is getting me to watch the show. Like they don't care about the 32-year-old male tuning into Desperate Housewives or Real House, whatever these reality shows are, right? So that's kind of the other argument I'd make about the demographic thing, because I think some people would be like, well, you want it to be for kids, you want it to be for girls, and it's like, yeah, sure, you do. You want fans however you can get them, but like you're also alienating me by doing that. So it's like you're kind of choosing the 10-year-old kid versus the fan that's been watching for 30 years that is now bailing on your company after 30 years, you know? Tim says, what are your thoughts on the new wrestling games coming out? For example, AEW, Wrestling Co. Retromania. Dude, great question. Thank you for asking that. I haven't played WWE 2K in the last 2 years, which is another testament to everything I've been saying. I bought every wrestling game that there was, including the third-party titles, like Legends of Wrestling and even like Def Jam Vendetta and all that kind of stuff, right? Like every wrestling game I can get my hands on since I had the earlier consoles, but the Nintendo 64 was the one where I really started buying the wrestling games like as they were coming out. So, or maybe the Super Nintendo, but you get the point. It's been a long time, and I have no interest at all in buying these WWE 2K games. So I'm very happy that there's going to be some more options soon. I think that Retromania Wrestling is going to be really, really good. It's basically the spiritual successor to what was the name of that old wrestling game? It looks just like it, but newer. Kind of like Fire Pro, but what was it? Y'all will probably know the game I'm trying to think of. There was like a really old arcade wrestling game that is really similar to Retromania in that. But anyways, I think Retromania looks really cool. I love the roster. Like, I'm going to definitely be playing as Warhorse. Like, I love that they put in indie wrestlers. I love that they put in like the BWO and just like the Road Warriors and stuff like that. I'm really looking forward to Retromania. The only shitty thing is it was supposed to come out like a year ago. Not quite, but I'm exaggerating a little bit. But it keeps getting pushed back. They're saying it's going to be February now. So WrestleFest. Thank you, Tim. That's the game I was trying to think of. Nailed it. I think they're saying February now, I think. And I get it. The pandemic threw a wrench in the plans. I'm not blaming them for having to push the game back. But I've been waiting for it for a while. I'm looking forward to it. The AEW games, I'm really looking forward to. I'm not a big mobile player, so I don't have really any interest in their mobile games. But their console games, I am very interested in. I mentioned the Nintendo 64 a second ago. Those are still to this day my favorite wrestling games. WCW NWO World Tour, WCW NWO Revenge, WWF No Mercy, and WWF WrestleMania 2000. I think are the best wrestling games that have ever come out. And I understand the argument for Here Comes the Pain on PS2. I'm okay with that. If people want to put that ahead of it, I understand the argument. But what's so funny to me is people have been clamoring for a No Mercy style game since then. It's been over 20 years now. Or around 20 years, whatever it's been. AEW's been a company for 1 year. And they go off and they get the developer of the game. And it's like, wait a second, this guy's been available this whole time? Like, the WWE has been just serving us these shit games year after year after year. Lowest rating titles they've ever had. Fans are complaining. People like me who buy every year stop buying. And this guy who made the games that we have all wanted back was available this whole time? And AEW just had to get him on board? It's like, I mean, as an AEW fan, I'm ecstatic because I think they're going to put together an awesome game that fans really want. I think Kenny Omega, people can say what they will about him, his goofiness and all that stuff, but he is for sure a gamer, and he knows what the wrestling fans want in a wrestling game. He's been listening, and he's been playing. And I have a lot of faith in this AEW video game, but it's just mind-blowing to me that it's similar to like the Jim Johnson thing. It's like people are complaining about WWE theme songs getting worse and worse, right? And it's like, I wonder what Jim Johnson's up to. Probably nothing. But he's the one who created all the iconic theme songs that we all know and love from our childhoods. And he's probably available. You know what I mean? Like, the people who are the best at what they do are available. But the WWE, for whatever reason, just giving us something different. It's wild. Terrell says, I have to go, everyone. Grandma's memory. Gotcha. Stay strong. Hey, Terrell, you too. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for being a big supporter of this show. Very much appreciate it. Any other questions, y'all? And the video game question, thank you for asking that, Tim. I'm really, really looking forward to AEW's video game. I'm not sure what Wrestling Code is. What is that? I need to look into that. Oh, and by the way, you can throw in All Japan had a game that was like identical to No Mercy, but with like Stan Hansen and those kind of guys. And I can't remember what it was called off the top of my head now, but that game rules too. I mean, it's basically No Mercy just with an All Japan roster, which is just cool as hell. A lot of people probably don't know that exists, but that game was really cool. I just can't remember the name of it. Tim says, the Wrestling Code will be a mix of realism and arcade, and if you... I feel like there's another part of the sentence coming here soon. But I'll get to that if there's more to that, Tim. Deshaun says, what about SmackDown vs. Raw 2009-2010 games? Good games. Good games. When I'm talking about the WWE's games being a really big issue, it's more the last handful of years. Because what they're doing is basically what I'd call like the Madden model, which is giving you the same game every year, just updating the roster. And part of the problem with that, along with that issue with the WWE games, is that they have an entire year to put them out, and they're pretty much putting out the same game each time, but it somehow is getting buggier and buggier by the year, to where like the game's becoming less and less playable. And a big issue that I have with it is the online play. And I didn't play it at all this past year. They might have updated it, but ever since the last few years, when you play online, it's hard to explain if you weren't playing the game, but you basically got a certain amount of reversals that you would start off with as a wrestler. So let's say you had 5 reversals. The reversals, when you use them, they'd go away, and then they'd slowly regenerate, I guess. Regenerate definitely isn't a word. But if you knew what you were doing, you could go in, you could spam certain moves, get people to use all their reversals, and then for like a minute or so, you can just do whatever you wanted, and they couldn't reverse it. And that's what the entire online play became. And it was just one giant troll job. Like, as somebody who wants to play these games competitively online, it's no fun for me to have to create a character that has a bunch of cheat moves, a bunch of leg sweeps and jabs, so that the opponent blocks 5 moves real quick, and then I just spam them with finishers and signatures, and it's just no fun. There's no thought to it. It's just a big troll job. Jesse's back.
Are we still live?
Yes, we're still live.
Okay. Sorry, it took longer than anticipated.
No, it's been good. I've been answering questions about the video games and stuff, so it's been good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and then the neighbor kids came over and broke the screen door, so.
Gotcha. Last thing I want to read real quick, this was Tim following up about something we were talking about. It says, if you like ECW, then Wrestling Code will have a lot of ECW wrestlers in it. RVD Raven, we got Gangrel in it. When you say we got Gangrel, do you have to do with making the game? If you do, that's really fucking cool. And if not, like, it's just cool that you know this much about it. Cheeseburger's also in. Wow. Yeah, it looks like it has a really good roster. I didn't even know this game was coming out. When's the release date for this? Let me know in the chat, Tim. Thank you for all the information on that. Well, Jesse, I hadn't talked about the main event of the show yet, so.
What was the main event? What are we counting as the main event?
Roman Reigns. Oh, sorry. Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. And then also the Undertaker. We need to talk about that, too.
Yeah. Okay.
So, getting back to Survivor Series, once again, y'all, Super Chats will make sure to talk about anything you want to on the show, and also anything else that we've been talking about in the chat just now, just in case, I don't want to miss it, but you're in the Discord. Gotcha, Tim. All right, so we had the main event, Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. This match went 25 minutes long, and Roman Reigns wound up getting the win with the guillotine choke. So yeah, I thought this match was really, really good. I thought the story was really good. I think Roman Reigns is the man. Like, I was talking about that while you were gone. I think Roman Reigns is the best thing going in the WWE on any brand, including NXT, which is the first time in forever that it's like something on Raw or SmackDown is better than NXT to me. So what do you think about this match and Roman Reigns getting the win here?
I thought this match was really fun. This match, like, went a really long time, as it should. We had both, predicted Roman Reigns winning. I mean, he just has to.
Yes.
He just has to win. Like, it's just, you can't have him lose. I say he shouldn't lose until WrestleMania or even further after that. I think any loss is detrimental to his character at the head of the table. I thought this was great. I thought it was fun. I thought it was brutal, which is what I like to see. Deserved to be the main event, even though it's a Survivor Series pay-per-view. This deserved to be the main event because it was every bit a main event match as you could get. Really liked it. Really enjoyed it. Solid wrestling by both these dudes. Had a lot of fun. Appreciated no interference by Randy Orton or anything like that. Or The Fiend or anything like that. So, or Miz, which we knew was going to happen. But yeah, I really liked it. I thoroughly enjoyed this match.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. I was also saying, like, they gotta do Roman and The Rock, and Roman just gotta win. I mean, just push this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the push that you were giving this guy as a babyface, do it all again, but as a heel. Like, make him the centerpiece of the whole company, but do it like this. I'm totally fine with it. All right, so we've talked about the show. Probably not a whole lot more match-wise that we can talk about. We had the Undertaker's farewell. I'm just going to go ahead and we'll switch to this. I love the Undertaker. I respect what he's done. I've been watching him a long time. I remember I was very, very young for his debut. I didn't watch it live in 1991 or 1990, whenever it was, but really very, very, very familiar with Undertaker when I became a wrestling fan in the mid-90s and through all the changes and all that stuff, the streak, everything. And I'll just say this. I do not believe for a second that's the last time we've seen The Undertaker. I think he's going to continue to wrestle at least one more match, and probably maybe more than another. I don't think he's done in the ring. I think that this whole last week was a very weird cash grab because he did hot ones and he did
yeah, he did all these weird promos.
Yeah, he did all these cameos where he's like, "Hi, Granny, congratulations on your retirement from The Undertaker." It's like, okay, I guess that's just where we're at now. After, I know the WWE, I'm sure, is getting a gigantic cut of that, but it's like, Zelina's situation happens, then Undertaker's out there doing cameos.
Right.
It all felt like a really strange cash grab to me. The Undertaker and the Undertaker and Snoop Dogg clothing line that they put out is like, if you like it, that's fine, but I just think it's very weird. I don't know what fan base they're actually going after with that. I like Snoop Dogg as much as the next guy, but I don't see what he has to do with the Undertaker at all. I don't really want a shirt that's like half Undertaker, half Snoop Dogg, the big collab.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then for him to come out, and I want your full thoughts on this too. I'm going to wrap my thoughts up here quickly. For him to come out with no fans, with piped-in crowd noise, with, this is very manufactured moment they were trying to create with no real audience. It was very, very, very weird. And then his little, I'm gonna let the Undertaker rest in peace. And it's like, okay. We expected you to say that. But that's it. So there's no way this is it. It's just they gotta be waiting for fans again. And this just seemed honestly, this seemed just like a gigantic waste of time. The last thing I'll say about it, after the show, he did the podcast with Steve Austin. I listened to the whole thing.
That was great.
That was, I think, the best podcast of any kind I've ever listened to. I'm not exaggerating. That was better than any episode of Joe Rogan, any other episode of Steve Austin, anything that I've ever done. Anything. That interview was incredible because he actually talked about how the streak in Brock Lesnar, that decision was made hours before he was in the building. He thought he was winning when he showed up to the building. Vince McMahon came and changed it on him. He talked about the the technician getting fired basically when he got lit up in flames on the way to the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
He talked about a lot of stuff that fans have wanted to know about that he's been quiet about, and I really loved that. So for no other reason, this entire week of like weird interviews and cameo appearances and that weird farewell, the one huge positive was I thought that Steve Austin interview was absolutely incredible. So I will say that. What were your thoughts on the Undertaker's week and then the actual Survivor Series farewell for the Undertaker?
Okay, first off, let me preface this by saying I absolutely respect the Undertaker. What he's done for this business is insurmountable. You can't duplicate it. There will never be another Undertaker. I think it was appropriate to do something for the 30-year anniversary. Yep. It was 30 years, Yep. I feel like that was very appropriate. I have the utmost respect for The Undertaker. I think he's the best, one of the best of all time. Respect the heck out of The Undertaker. However, I hated this. I absolutely hated this. I thought it did not feel sincere to me. It didn't feel sincere. It didn't feel right. The only thing that felt right about it was like a thank you Taker for 30 years. Like, it didn't feel like a thank you for this is the final goodbye. We all know it's not his final goodbye. Just did not feel, it felt so flat for me. I'm so sorry, guys.
No, I completely agree.
I know I'm going to catch a lot of heat for this, but it's just like, he deserved fans. Let's just get that right off the bat. He deserved actual fans being there, and the whole 30-year thing lining up. I get it, and he tried his best. I'll tell you what, man, he did such a good job when he was like talking, and they started doing the "Thank You Taker" chants, and he like kind of stopped and kind of like tried to take them all in, like
but
it was live.
But that's the thing is it was all fake. I know that's what made it so bad.
He tried, and I tell you what. He did his best, and his best was probably infinitely better than mine could have ever been to make it look authentic.
Sure.
But it just, and to bring out like literally every person over the age of 65, and then Jeff Hardy, and to have them all in the ring, give them all their entrances, and then just have them disappear.
That made no sense. That was so weird.
And then Vince McMahon.
And Kane out in costume. He's the only one dressed in costume. That was hilarious.
Yeah, it's just... And then Vince McMahon comes out and says a few words, or whatever. And the Undertaker comes out and has his full entrance, as he should, but it does take forever. Walks around the ring, but it's like, man, there was nobody there. And you could just tell. I don't know. I could just tell in his eyes. He was like, man, I wish there were fans here. The entire time I'm watching this, I'm like, man, I wish there were fans. Like, this it felt so insincere to The Undertaker. This felt disrespectful to The Undertaker. I'm sorry, it did. The only thing that really got me was the Paul Bearer thing.
The hologram,
like that,
yeah.
It was a bad hologram, but it was very, very sweet, and I thought it was a really cute moment. Not cute, but you know what I mean? It was a very,
I know what you mean, yeah.
Tasteful. It was tasteful. Like, it was the perfect kind of...
When you couldn't have all this without any kind of Paul Bearer, like, something.
Yeah,
so, like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So it was the perfect way to kind of fit that in. And my husband was so mad at the end of this. He's like, I stayed up for this. My husband's working, like, hours upon hours upon hours because he works for a place that does a lot of Black Friday stuff. He's like, I stayed up for this. He came out, said a few words, and left. Like, I know that's The Undertaker's character and everything, but it's true. It does. It feels like this was not the final goodbye, and it annoyed me because they did all of this PR stuff, all this stuff beforehand. It's just a final goodbye, like all week, and every media outlet they could, and it's like, but it's not. It's not. It better not be. I sure as heck hope it's not. Because, like I said, I think he deserves, like, an actual farewell in front of fans. I feel like Undertaker deserves that. It's just... And do I fault WWE? No, they didn't create a pandemic. Absolutely not. It's not their fault either. But don't advertise it as, like, a final goodbye. I think they should have advertised it more as, like, a 30-year tribute.
Exactly. Yep.
And then had it maybe him say that at the end, like maybe it's time for the Undertaker to rest in peace or whatever. But this just did not like, and here's the thing. I know a lot of people were very emotional about it. Totally allowed to. Absolutely. If you love this, I'm so glad for you. But this was not closure. I didn't feel any closure. I didn't feel any like I felt more closure and more finality when I mean you were there too at WrestleMania 33 when he put his
Yep.
hat and his coat in the ring. I felt way more emotion during that than I did this.
Well, and they made that the main event of WrestleMania. It really seemed like, okay, this is Undertaker's send-off. Like, this would have been the perfect... He fucking vanishes down, like, down below the ramp on his way out with his hand up. Undertaker... Like, it was, like, the perfect ending.
Perfect send-off.
Yeah. And the match sucked ass, by the way. That match against Roman was awful. But it was like, you know what? If that's it, that was a great... Like, you lost to the right guy... It should have been the guy to beat the streak to begin. Brock didn't need it. Undertaker even talked about that. He said that it should have been Roman and not Brock. But it's like, I know what you're saying though. Like, but then if you remember, a few months later, after all this, another super chat. I'll get to that in just a second. Thank you, Marty. I will. I have that up on my screen here.
Oh yeah. I was like, oh.
But so, a couple of months after what we're talking about, they did like I think it was like some sort of Raw anniversary or something or other, and the Undertaker came out and everyone thought he was gonna like announce his retirement that night, and he came out and did pretty much the same speech he did on Sunday, except like he said that he's gonna keep making people rest in peace. So it was like, wait, he isn't done? Wait, I thought this was gonna be him like walking away. He's not done? And to his credit, he had that really good tag team match. Him and Roman versus Drew and Shane.
That was dope, yeah.
Really good. But do I think that The Undertaker's final match was a boneyard? I mean, I thought the boneyard match was good, but like...
I thought that was awesome.
But that's not how The Undertaker's career is going to actually end. He's going to finish... It'll be in the ring. I think I'm with you, Jesse. If they would have done some sort of tribute... video package, he could even come out and say something along the same lines of, hey,
you can still do the PR.
Yeah, it's been 30 years. I'm ready to hang him up, but you know, I want the Undertaker's fans to be here when I say my goodbyes. You know, something like that. Like, I'm still around. This isn't the big final farewell. I'm gonna do this in front of fans, and then we do it in front of fans. Like, he can acknowledge, like, because I don't know. It just is what it is. I don't know why I'm even getting upset about it. Like, I'm glad he got a tribute, but there's just no part of me that believes he's never going to show up again.
No.
Especially, I mean, imagine WrestleMania rolls around and we have fans again. And I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but just hypothetically speaking.
Seems like it if it's going to be in Tampa.
Yeah, it very well could. So... And Vince calls the Undertaker and goes, "Hey, what kind of shape you in, Mark?" And he's like, "Pretty good shape." And it's like, "You want to have a real one against AJ?" It's like, "Yep." You know what I mean? It's like I think because he knows with the right opponent, he can still go out on that one last.
Yes, the right opponent.
Whether it'll work or not, who knows? But like, that's why he initially came back this last year. He was going to be done. Then he was like, well, if anybody can pull an incredible match out of me again, it's AJ Styles. And I guarantee there's still part of Undertaker that still believes that can happen. Doesn't necessarily even have to be AJ. I mean, they have good... Imagine if someone like Cesaro was in a position where it'd be like a believable match. Like, Cesaro would be able to have a great match with Undertaker.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, like there's plenty of people on the roster that I think are capable of it. It's just a matter of like who's at a high enough level that the Undertaker would even want to like entertain that. But anyway, I think we're all on the same page here. Like, I mean, if that is it, that's, you know, but I just don't. There's no way, you know? There's just no way.
Yeah, there's just no way. I mean, like I said, if you love that, more power to you. Like, I'm not hating anyone. Like, this is clearly just my opinion, and I'm open to others. I can completely see how someone would have loved it, gotten emotional, which is okay. You're allowed to cry. Men are allowed to cry, just FYI. And like, but just for me personally, I just, meh.
Yeah.
I just felt meh. What did Marty say?
Yeah, I'm with you. Marty, thank you very much for the donation. Says, just landed. Sorry I missed the show, but had to donate and say Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, thank you, Marty. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. I hope your travels were safe and everything.
Yes, thank you very much, Marty. Thank you
Glad
very much for.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for always supporting the show, and I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving as well. I'm gonna change that GIF, whatever. Marty always donates the $10, and I really appreciate it. There's some other ideas I have for that 10 outside of Ty Dillinger. So just because Marty likes to do that amount, I'll change the GIF so it'll be a surprise next time when I pull up. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's pretty much Survivor Series. I don't know if there's anything else that why don't you tell everyone? Yeah.
Yeah, sir.
I was gonna say, well, if you want to go ahead and just tell everyone what to do about subscribing and stuff, we'll get the sponsors ready to go, and if there's any last minute super chats, we'll address those and all that good stuff.
Yes, of course. Thank you, everyone. First of all, for being so flexible with me. I have to get these lovely shots all the time, so it really means a lot that everyone was still around and everyone. And thank you so much, Steven, for taking the lead position there. Like seriously, we always try our best, and I try my best to like be flexible with this. But I was like, I really want to get on there and go on here especially before Thanksgiving. And so thank you, Steven, and thank you, everyone. It meant a lot. So
for sure, no problem.
I was able to get this shot. So yeah, so basically, thank you so much, everyone, for your super chats. If you have any last minute stuff, go right ahead. Once we get through the sponsors and everything, we will get right to those. Thank you, everyone who's donated so far. Thank you to everyone in the chat. We love our chat. We love our donators. We love everybody. It's such a good vibe in here, and that's why we do this every week. We love it so much. We are so thankful for you guys. And if you want more like-minded people, more like-minded people in the chat watching these, then do us a favor. And if you like this, please do subscribe to the channel. And if you do subscribe to the channel, and if you like this video, or if you don't want to subscribe but you liked it, please do give this video a thumbs up, because it really does help the algorithm. It helps get more like-minded, cool vibe people into the chat, into the live streams, into the subscriptions, and we can have more fun, thoughtful, engaging discussions that are not bad or anything. So it really does help. So please do give this video a thumbs up if you like it. I'm not forcing anyone to. That's not cool.
We can't make you, but
yeah, I can't make you smash that like, but smashing like is appreciated, and so is smashing that subscribe button. And that way, because obviously today we don't usually podcast. We usually podcast on Tuesdays, but yesterday was pretty busy. Today's pretty busy, but we wanted to get something done today, and it was kind of like sudden because we did a time change kind of thing. So if you subscribe, you know right away when we're going live, because you'll get a nice little notification about it. And yeah, so go ahead.
All right. So I'm
gonna go to the restroom while you go through the sponsors.
Sounds good. So we got Music City Toys and Collectibles. They are the place to be for pretty much anything when it comes to merchandise. I mean, I get a lot of action figures from them. They have magazines, DVDs. They have autographed 8x10s, autographed action figures. Pretty much anything you can think of. I mean, old programs from like old shows and stuff like that. And they're really nice people, and they'll give you fair business. Really, really easy to deal with. That's, once again, Music City Toys and Collectibles. Let's see what they have going on their page right now. They're always doing cool sales and stuff like that. So we have... This is from November, so this is just 5 days ago. They got a sale going on right now. Magazine Mania claim sale. So basically, I'll actually just pull this right up. So... right now, so this is a perfect example of how easy it is at Music City Toys and Collectibles. On their Facebook page right now, you can literally see these things are all for sale. And if you want them, you just claim them. It says how much the price is, and that includes shipping. So let's say that, I know that there's people that have already claimed a lot of these. You can see on the replies. But let's just say there was no reply here. And I wanted this old WCW magazine from... Jeez, I don't even know let's see how long ago this was. I can't even... From 1997. If I wanted that magazine for $19.97 from WCW, I know it's $12. I could reply right there that I want it. They literally will invoice me on PayPal, and then they ship it out. That's the exact price, no extra shipping costs. Shows up usually pretty darn fast. They also do actual live sales where Chad, who runs Music City Toys and Collectibles, he'll be on camera with items, say how much they are. If you're there live in the chat and you want it, you say it. They do it the same way. They just PayPal you an invoice. You just pay it, and then that's it. Very, very, very easy. So support them because they support us. Music City Toys and Collectibles. They are awesome people. They will give you fair business, and they have awesome, awesome stuff that you can buy over there. Also, speaking of awesome, WrestleRumble.com. Shout out to Hannah Moore, who won the Survivor Series Pick'em contest. This chick is just, I'm not gonna say jealous because I'm very happy for her, but it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. She won this was for $500. She won $500 here at WrestleRumble.com, and she's won a total of probably 10 replica belts from their raffles. I mean, killing it. So shout out to Hannah Moore. I mean, incredible. Like the raffles is luck, right? Like that's like you pay your $1, you pay however many you want. It's you versus 4,000 people. She just somehow has the luck there. This is skill. Like you beat all of us in Survivor Series picks. I mean, and won $500. Well done, Hannah. So that all being said, there's another raffle going on that's going to end the night of NXT Takeover War Games. They're $1 entries again, and these are for the mini title belts. These things, I believe, they're about a foot long, but they look identical to the belts. Like they're just really small versions, or much smaller versions that still look legitimate and still have like all the same type of materials, and they're really great for displaying because you could obviously you have a lot more room to put these than you would gigantic belts. And like I said, they look just like the real thing. They're really cool. They're going to be giving one person 20 of these belts, so and it's insane. Like some of these belts are worth like around $100. Like I looked into them, they're like 60, some of them are like 30, some are like 60, 80, and the Fiend belt I think is over 100. Like for $1, someone's gonna win 20 of these things. I mean, WrestleRumble.com is insane. I just talked to Matt, the guy that runs it, the other day. I stay in touch with him, and I'm always giving him props. He says hello, by the way. He's always saying how much he's loving our show and stuff. But but what they're doing at Wrestle Rumble is just so cool. Like this past weekend, 4 people won these title belts, and these were like the $400. Yeah, and these are like the $400 like actual replica belts here. They gave away the AEW, NXT, ECW, and National Wrestling Alliance titles over the weekend. Just incredible prizes. So once again, WrestleRumble.com, jump on there for $1. You can win 20 of these replica mini belts. I mean, mind-blowing prizes right now. Always mind-blowing prizes, but especially like 20 mini belts. That's awesome. And for those of you who might be thinking like mini belts, it sounds kind of lame. No, these things look really fucking cool. Like I would love to win this contest and display these things in my office. Like, man,
yeah, they look legit.
Yeah, awesome stuff. And as always, got my brother Brian Jensen. You can follow him on Instagram at BoxingATL, BoxingATL. He is a co-owner of Steel Boxing and Athletics, which is a gym in Atlanta, Georgia. He works with Parkinson's foundations. He can help you reach your goals, whether you're looking to lose weight, get in better shape, learn how to throw hands, learn self-defense. If you want to compete at a amateur or professional level in boxing or mixed martial arts, you just need a guy to hold pads for you, whatever it is, Brian can help you. And he's also 100% certified with these neurological things like Parkinson's and dystonia and muscular dystrophy, those kind of things. Brian is an expert at this stuff and can help anyone of any age with all of these things. What I've recently started doing is I actually have a lot of his recordings, and he does a lot of stretches. So like even if you're not like looking for specific things, I'll get up sometimes, they're about an hour long, and I will literally like just stretch out with my brother on the screen and just go through and it isn't like labor intensive. Like I don't come out of these things like sore, like I just worked out. I just come out of it like feeling good, feeling loose, and like, it isn't painful or hard for anyone to do. So all those kind of things going on for Brian. You can see here through his Instagram account. You can see that's him in his gym. He'll meet you at your business. This is one of his fighters, won a cool trophy. That's the gym. That's the ring in his gym. So they got a lot of really cool stuff going on. He'll meet you at your business. He'll meet you at your house. He'll meet you in a park. Doesn't matter. He'll meet you on Zoom, Skype, whatever, anywhere in the world. So hit him up. Boxing ATL. And just like all of our sponsors, if you let them know that me and Jessi sent you their way, I promise you get a really, really, really good deal on whatever you're trying to do. So that's everything I've got. You can follow me on Twitter at FightTalk_, FIGHTTALK_. I do the Fightful Select Weekender podcast every weekend, talking pretty much just a ton of pro wrestling stuff. And that's available at Fightful.com, part of their Patreon service. I have more videos coming up soon for all things MMA on YouTube. I've been writing lists and editing videos lately, so a lot of content coming out there. And just make sure to, you're subscribed to the Fight Talk podcast feed on all major platforms. I upload all the audio from this show there, and I do a weekly audio podcast for Mixed Martial Arts with my friend John Mosley. I also do random wrestling interviews. I have some stuff coming up soon from the world of independent wrestling that I think a lot of people are going to be interested in listening to.
Stop doing that. Sorry.
You're good. But that was pretty much it. I just try to keep everything updated on my Twitter. So once again, FightTalk_. I will try to keep you updated on the stuff that I am working on. And Jessi, I've got you pulled up right here.
Yay! Sorry about that. They broke the screen for the third time on our screen door, and so they're passing toys through. I'm trying. I feel bad, but anyways, so I'm watching them through the camera, just trying to make sure they're not up to shenanigans. Which they wouldn't. They're girls, but anyways. So yes. So obviously you can. Honey, you need to stop. You need to stop putting them through the screen. Stop. Oh my God, she's not even listening. Okay. So yeah, so obviously you can follow me on Twitter if you want all of my live reactions to Ohio State. You can watch me melt down over Ohio State. You can watch me melt down over Raw sometimes. AEW Dynamite's gonna be on tonight. That'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully there'll be a lot of fun stuff to talk about then. That's where you can see all like my live reactions. But if you want to see more of me, if you want to see more of me, you can go to my OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/Jessi the Buckeye. If you want to DM me, that's where you go. I answer messages every day over there. I've never taken a day off. So yeah, I talk with people over there. It's a great time. We have a lot of fun. onlyfans.com/Jessi Buckeye. It's the best way to support me and my family directly, other than this fantastic, amazing, awesome YouTube channel that I'm running with Steven. Thank you so much, Steven, again, for everything you do for us. Super awesome.
Thanks.
Super appreciated.
No, I really appreciate
it.
Thanks.
Thanks. So yeah, like I said, give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. And that's it. I hope everyone has a freaking amazing Thanksgiving and is safe and healthy and has a great day and sleeps. And if you choose to go Black Friday shopping, don't be a meanie. Wear a mask, social distance, do all that. Just be safe. Yeah.
Yeah. I almost forgot to mention it. I want to bring up on Friday. I think on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, I'll be returning to Throwback 27's live chat. So if y'all want to check that out, he's a big supporter of the show and does a lot of stuff with Fightful. And he's a really good guy, Pat. Really, really good dude. And so make sure to subscribe to his channel too. It's Throwback 27, and I'll be going live with him on Friday. So if you want to check that out, you might enjoy it. So that's everything I've got. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I don't know when we'll be back next. Probably Tuesday, I'm guessing, of this upcoming week. But make sure you're subscribed to this channel here, and make sure that you are following both of us on Twitter, because then you'll be notified, just like today, on when we go live, even if it ends up being a random day and a random time. So that's everything I've got. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. We'll see you next